Anybody else for the click? All right, well, thank you. So Darcy's going to get on the phone as Paul Cruz for this next item, the iPad, whatever.
Hey, Paul, I'm going to put you on to the council, okay? Okay, yep. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
We can, yep.
Hello, Paul.
Great. How are you?
We're good. We're good. So we're just getting started on your item is number 6 here on the agenda. So we're just getting to you. Darcy just has got you on the phone. So if you want to go ahead and give your presentation on this, that would be great. That would be good.
You bet. I'd be more than happy to. And what I'll do is I usually just kind of start and give everybody just a 10,000 foot view of what iPaid is, how it works, why Postville should utilize the fund. And just kind of going real quickly, it was started back in 1987. And the Iowa League of Cities, the Iowa State Association of Counties, and the Iowa Association of Municipal Utilities, those three associations got together and they formed the iPaid Fund. And what iPaid can do is we invest in everything that the city of Postville can invest in. So we invest in, Iowa CDs, Iowa Bank CDs, U.S. Treasuries, U.S. agencies, everything what the statute 12B1 states that municipalities in the state of Iowa can invest in. So the difference is we manage that. We professionally manage the fund, and basically it's a money market fund. And so you have, you put $1 in, it's $1 out. It's again, it's that fund is made up of U.S. Treasuries, agencies, and Iowa Bank CDs. It's 100% liquid. So if you have funds invested today and you need those funds back tomorrow, as long as we know by 3 o'clock, they'll be in your local bank tomorrow, and vice versa. So if you pass the resolution and you decide that you want to invest, as long as it's that transaction is made by 3 o'clock, it'll be in the iPaid account tomorrow. Today's rate was 5.12%. So that's what you earn on every dollar in the fund. Doesn't matter if it's $1 or if it's 10 million. That's what you earn, and it doesn't matter if it's the city of Postville, the city of Des Moines, Cedar Rapids. They're all. That's what the rate is, and that's what you would earn. As I mentioned, you would have to have your local bank. The funds are transferred back and forth. You can have as many accounts as you want. And I think if I looked correctly, you've got a number of accounts. I think it's fire department, ambulance, swimming pool, Alameda County. I think I counted maybe 13 separate accounts that you have. At least that's what is shown in your council meetings. The beauty of the number of accounts, you can have an account set up for each one of those that to mirror your accounts at the bank. So again, maybe you have a fire department account, and maybe it's not maybe it's a smaller balance. Not always do banks pay interest on smaller accounts. So again, you can have as many accounts as you want. The interest is maintained separately. The interest accrues daily and is paid monthly. So at the end of the month, let's say you've got $10,000 in the fund, and at the end of the month, the interest that accrues at the end of the month will automatically be added to your balance. Now, it doesn't have to be. We can transfer it back to your local bank, but most of them just want it to accrue. Again, it's been highly successful. We've got in excess of I think it's $1.3 billion invested in iPaid right now on behalf of Iowa cities, counties, and utilities. I know you guys are in, I think part of it is in Alameda County. Alameda County invests Jennifer O'Neill is the person we work with at Alameda County. Again, what I always tell people, I think that passing the resolution does nothing more than says the city of Postville can invest. And so the nice thing is you have access to that rate. If your local bank steps up and says, gee, we'll match the rate that iPaid is paying, perfect. You've kept it locally, and I understand most of the cities, counties, utilities always like to keep it local. So that's a way to utilize it. Again, maybe sometimes it's bond proceeds. I know we have issues where maybe a school district or a city or might pass a large bond issue, and the bank says we just don't want the funds. So again, it's a place to place the funds. I would say virtually from the size of from the smallest city in Iowa to the city of Des Moines have passed the resolution. And again, passing the resolution does nothing more than set you up to invest. The iPaid is managed, again, the firm I work for is PMA Financial. We manage the fund, so it's professionally managed. We market the fund and we do the administration for the fund. U.S. Bank is the custodian. So with the dollar amount that we deal with, you have to have a large bank to custody the funds. So U.S. Bank is the custodian for the fund. We have 9 board members, and those board members represent each one of the associations. So Tim Stiles from West Des Moines, he's the CFO at West Des Moines, City of West Des Moines. He sits on our board. He represents the Iowa League of Cities. Jeff Nemmers, who's the finance director at the City of Fort Dodge, also, and then Brent Hinson, who is the finance director at the City of Mason City, also sits on our board. Let's see, you've got Alan Kemp is, of course, the executive director of the Iowa League of Cities. He's on our executive committee for the board. Let's see, we've got Allers Law Firm is our legal counsel, and they do all the legal work for our fund. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if I had sent the reasons to pass the resolution, but I put some, if I didn't, just real quickly, and I put this together. I presented to a solid waste commission several years ago, and the chairman of the board asked me, he goes, Paul, he goes, is there any reason why we wouldn't want to pass the resolution? I said, I can't think of any, but I can think of a number of them why you would want to pass it. So I just listed them. It doesn't cost the city anything. It provides an investment option for liquid funds, can be a good barometer for rates in Iowa, so you know what rates are across the state. We provide, and I haven't mentioned this yet, but we provide certificate of deposit and treasury rates from outside of your area. So we work with roughly 300 banks across the state. We provide CD rates. So, for example, this morning, Jim O'Dean from the city of Davenport contacted me. He says, I've got $10 million I need to invest. And so he contacted us and his local banks, and we provided a CD rate for him. And we didn't win it. That usually we quite often will win them, but we didn't win this morning. Of course, there's a lot of strong banks in Davenport. But we provide CD rates and treasury rates. It's an option for funds when your local bank doesn't want funds. A couple, 2.5 years ago, or maybe been 3 now, when COVID hit and the cities were getting ARPA funds, and the school districts were getting ESSA funds. A lot of the banks weren't, and the rates were really low then, and they weren't looking for funds. So we were placing a lot of funds in treasuries at that time. So again, it was a situation where the banks didn't want it. A lot of times property tax time, there's a perfect time to utilize the fund where you might just throw it all in iPay during property tax collection. Again, that's something that Alameda County does. Diversification, laddering of bond proceeds, bank philosophy. Sometimes the bank philosophies and ownerships can change. Again, you can have unlimited bank accounts, as I mentioned earlier. Online investment. So all the investments are done online. So what you're going to do is you'll go to ipace.org, and that's also where you're always going to see the rate. So if you want to see the daily rate, it does change. It can change, and it hasn't changed for quite some time. But you'll always see the daily rate. And then again, it's the sponsoring association. So in your case, the Iowa League of Cities does get a portion of the total amount. But when I quote a rate, it's always net to the city. So whether it's a CD rate or the daily rate, that's what the city is always going to earn. So there's no fees on top of that. There's no transaction fees. The dollars are transferred ACH. I've done a lot of talking. If there's any questions, if I can help you, I always tell people, I know if you don't have any questions right now and I hang up and you guys start talking and you say, hey, I got one more question, feel free to call me back. I'll be around. So any questions on how it works and benefits?
One of the questions, Paul, was how do you make your money, or what's your management fees?
Yeah, that's a good question. And as I mentioned, each piece, and I don't know if I did not send it, it would be in the information statement. But each one, so there's a marketing fee, there's a administration fee, there's a custodial fee, and there's a investment advisor fee. Those total about 30 basis points. So about 0.3% is total. So again, I tell people, I said, don't worry about it. We make money. But again, those fees are, again, netted out of the net fee. So I don't have it right in front. I know the marketing fee, I believe, is 6 or 7 basis points. And I think they're all, and some of it, part of it is laddered. So based on the dollars invested in the fund. But that's, again, that's part of the total investment. Similar, like I said, again, so it's like a money market fund. So there's those fees. But again, the rate that we quote is what the city of Postville would earn.
So the rate you quote includes those fees in it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I think if I didn't send you, I'll send you the information statement. I thought I sent that to you, but if I did not,
Yeah, we do have that. We have it.
Yeah, we got.
And that should show. I'm trying to pull it up here on my page that it's beyond
9.
but it should. The investment advisor, I think it's probably on page 11. Talks about the investment advisor. Yeah. So again, it's we take that. Again, that's it's all netted out of the rate.
Okay.
And again, there's no requirement. There's no minimum balances. So let's just say you decide you pass the resolution and you decide to invest, and the next day the bank calls up and say, we'll match what I paid it paying. Perfect. You just pull out the dollars, and it doesn't cost anything. You're going to transfer it back to Postville, and all is good. Yeah, actually, I did find it at page 9. It's the expenses of iPage. And again, there's administrators paid annual fee, marketers paid. So the custodial fee.
Minimum, is there a minimum?
That we
They're asking
invest.
if there's a minimum to invest or.
There's no minimums. No. So like I said, if you, I've got cities that have, you know, a couple $1,000 in it. And again, I think our largest client, actually our largest client is probably IMWCA, the Iowa Municipal Workers Compensation Association. They're right now, I think, they probably have the most in the fund. But City of Davenport, City of Des Moines is a big investor. But yeah, and on the other side of it, again, there's no minimums. So $1, I mean, it does, again, as long as, and if you want to balance it, zero it out at any point, you can maintain the accounts.
So the big thing tonight is, and it doesn't cost anything for us folks to do this, is to pass the resolution.
Correct.
So that we can, if we decide to invest, we can do it.
Exactly.
All right.
So you're joining, 450 other municipalities that have passed the I-8 resolution, saying yes, we can invest. And again, you can go to our website, you'll see the rate, and if the rates, I can't remember if it's the school up there. I've got somebody up in Alameda County that the bank actually looks up the rate and calls whoever, and I can let you know. I'll look it up because I know we get it every once a week or so, and they, as long as the bank will say, okay, we're going to match it, and they want to know what the rate is. So again, it's on our website, but yeah, so there doesn't cost you anything. Passing the resolution just gets you set up, and that's all it takes.
All right. You folks got any more questions for Paul?
So 5.2% or whatever you said they're earning, does that follow a certain market, or what does that follow? What does that?
Yeah, it's it's based on the treasury. So we invest in treasuries, and so if we buy a treasury or an agency, the fund cannot exceed more than 45 days average life. So it's always, that's how it's always liquid. And so again, we're purchasing CDs, we're purchasing treasuries, agencies, and that's part of the fund. So it's managed, and again, so the average rate is what pops out at the end.
So it's kind of like you're actually selling, or you're buying. I mean, you're buying every day.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
We manage
like
it. We manage it daily.
Okay.
Yep. And so we know at the end of the day, we're buying and selling, and we know we've got to redeem so many dollars that a city or a county or a utility asks, and when you get dollars in, and so at the end of the day, we got to make sure that we're able to buy or sell that amount. So we've got, again, it's a money market fund.
Yep. Okay.
As I mentioned, I know you asked for questions, but again, if after I hang up, if you have questions, feel free to call me. You got my number, and I'll be here. So
All right. Okay, I think we no more questions. We'll let Paul go and talk about the resolution then.
you bet. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
I
bye.
had one question, but I didn't want to ask him because I don't want to sound stupid. But it says the investment advisor is paid an annual fee, and then it says the custodian is paid an annual fee. So this custodian is paid. He's a custodian. I take it. This
Well, probably his company.
Do you guys mind if I say a few things before you, because I'm pretty well
You want to come up
knowledgeable
to
about investments.
up
Okay.
to the.
So a couple things that are concerning to me. I think their fees should be fixed. I do not think their fees should be increasing as you have more money invested. That's a red flag to me. A 5% return rate isn't that great when last year the stock market was up 26% for the whole year. And if you look at historical returns over the last 20 to 30 years, you're talking 7 to 8%, just like over 10 years, if not more. So, and then if they're promising 5%, but then all those fees are coming out. So I feel like, and then he also said they're doing active management. So they're buying and selling every day. That's a lot more expensive. And so if you just have fixed, and yeah, so these things all kind of are like, but I don't know what your options are as a city.
Is a government. Yeah, we have
Right.
to follow a certain
I
code
don't
section,
know.
which they do.
And then what about tax benefits? Are there any,
Why would we need them? We don't pay.
you don't have, there's no, yeah.
No.
I just think their management fees might
Yeah,
be,
and the
there's 3 different fees they listed. That's-
yeah, which is part of that rate that they give you, what your interest rate is. Those fees are already accounted for.
Right.
So you would be, like he said this morning, it was 5.12. That would be the rate we would get. I mean, their fees are
Their
already
fees
taken
are already
out.
taken
But
out
they're
of
not,
that.
because he said they fluctuate when you have more invested. So their fees are not in that fully. They're not fully included in that. They like to say that, but if they're gonna fluctuate when you have more money invested, he said it very clearly, then that's not their total fee amount. So I would be happy to read through their contract. if you want. I just see some, yeah.
Well, it's like, so we're kind of stuck here,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, you brought up the stock market. Well, we can't do that.
No.
Right.
So I'm glad the rest of us private can do that.
Yeah.
You know, but so we're stuck with this or the CDs, you know, at the bank, and of course they hadn't paid anything, and now they're finally getting up there to, you know, I mean, I remember one time bringing $1 million from Elmwood County over here in the bank. They were asking because they needed money to borrow, you know, and then they actually stepped up pretty good. I think we got all the way up to 1.1 on that baby, you know, so. Yeah, I mean, that's how this is, you know, but
Does it affect our local banks if we take out all the money and invest it?
We wouldn't take out all the money.
No.
We would use this more like a savings account.
For just some of our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, we would never take out all the
Is that
money.
what-
No.
Fire truck fund or something?
Yeah, or like this camera money. Maybe we move that over.
Instead of just sitting.
I like the fact that it's liquid though.
Right.
oh yeah, you bet. You're
I mean,
not,
if it wasn't, if it was tied up, then
And you're screwed.
and that's probably the key thing to this. I mean, I'm not selling this thing, but it is the idea that you can get a hold of your money.
mhm.
You know, it's not, you're not
It's still
locked
yours.
into to months, you know, and things like that, because you just don't know
Right.
when you're
Well,
going to
and
need that.
And if this is something that's gonna make more money than what we're getting off of what we have now. Trading daily, you know, it depends. Of course, they're
Well, it doesn't cost you anything to just be part of it.
right, exactly.
Okay, we
can
don't
vote
have
on
to
it,
move
but we
any
don't
money
have to
into
do
it
anything.
whatsoever.
It just gives you the option.
You
to
just
Do
have
use
that
it.
option.
Too? Do other states have it also? Was it just like is it a unique to Iowa thing?
I'm not sure. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
I'm not sure. I never researched if other states have it. I know that this is something that's been around a long time, and I know that it's endorsed by the Iowa League of Cities.
I see.
You probably saw where there's a lot of cities and school districts in it. I think there was a list that they gave.
Have they ever wanted to pass the resolution before? I mean, they've been around since, like, have they ever offered it to Postville before?
This is the first
I
time they've
approached them.
us.
Oh.
They didn't approach us. I approached them.
Oh.
I was well aware of it. Iowa League of Cities, we've seen it for years. I don't know why Postville's never been involved in it.
But Jenny is doing it for the county.
I guess
Yeah.
Mhm.
they must have
I
did
know
that
she-
after
I
election.
sat in on, I didn't know what the heck she was talking about, but,
yeah.
but I recall listening to her chat with the supervisors.
Tony has done this.
One of, you know,
The-
one of many avenues that they can, but like they just said, you know, this is just to open the door. So if we want to do it, it's there. We don't have to do
And that's
anything.
just, I always think there's no reason why we can't pass it, because if it's something that we down the line want to use, we can.
Okay, so we can, if you want to make a motion to go ahead and
I have
adopt.
one more question.
Sure.
Is the city only allowed to invest in places like this?
Exactly right. Or CDs. Yeah, we're governed under Iowa code differently.
Okay.
I move that we pass resolution 1418-24.
I think that's something because it's, you don't have to do anything with it, but you have the option to.
Any further discussion? Darcy,
Warren,
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
well, I think, I mean, and then we will definitely, you will go in front of the council anyway for the amount you
Sure,
wanted to
absolutely,
put. So,
yeah.
so we'll just make it so that
You
if you,
can't just go ahead and do it without.
yeah,
approving
no,
it.
well,
No,
you'll do it. You'll do the approving.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think that we're good on that one then, right?
Great, yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Well, item 7 then is the public hearing on 261 West Stoneman. To sell that lot. We didn't get any bids, so we can do it again.
It's right at the time of year, Dennis.
But sure could be. You bet. And if you get some contractor involved, and of course they got to line up money also, So and I'm thinking.
I
So
thought you had a family who was interested in doing that. Darcy, did you?
I thought I did, but I guess he changed his mind
Okay.
when I called him today. So
So can we run this by maybe closer to the summertime?
yeah, we'll just hold off.
Maybe in May or something. While
Yeah.
it's getting closer to.
Yep.
Is that lot have the possibility of being split to the two adjoining?
Too small.
Well, I mean, you'd have to have both,
If both
Property
parties would happen to be interested, it
would have
is
to-
option to split.
but our goal, because we demoed the house and have that expense, our
Okay.
goal was for it to be
To
a
be another
home
home.
to generate
Gotcha.
property tax. Yeah, and it is a buildable lot for a single family home, not multi.
So I probably just
Just move it
let
forward.
go ahead and we'll go then on to item 8. Then is resolution number 1416-24, a resolution requesting funding for educational program from Winnebago County Solid Waste Management.
So this is a grant application that we apply for every year. Last year we got $202.31. We put that towards, we were putting it towards like large item pickup, but publication of recycling, copies, that sort of thing. So this is just the resolution applying for the funds again for 2024.
This is for this dispersal of funds for educational purposes.
Yeah. So we educate the public about recycling and
Ah,
garbage and
Gotcha.
reducing waste.
Now, we might want to talk to them and see how it's going, if people are following the rules, or, I mean, we could make a post.
Sure.
Tell people what they can put in there and what they can't.
Well, I know a lot of people that don't recycle. How do you encourage that? And we have people in our building, and I feel like saying, I'll stop by every other day and pick up your cardboard or your glasses, not glasses, but plastic or aluminum or something. That's hard to do.
No, it's not.
Well, I move we pass resolution 1416-24.
All right. Second,
Second.
Larry. Whenever you're ready, Darcy.
Or
Yep.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right. Okay, then item 9 is ordinance number 695-24, an ordinance amending chapter 15, mayor, and chapter 17, council of Postville, Iowa, code of ordinances. And what that means is we're requesting a little more compensation. And I've got something here I'm supposed to read. This came from Dan. Okay, so by ordinance, the council shall prescribe the compensation of the mayor, council members, and other elected city officials. but a change in compensation of the mayor does not become effective during the term in which the change is adopted, which means
It would start next year.
Next term,
Next-
right?
Next term.
next term, which means
Or-
I'll be old. I'll be older.
Your tax bracket isn't
Yeah.
fixed yet.
The city council too, right?
And so a change in compensation of the council members becomes effective for all council members at the beginning of the term of the council member elected at the election next following the change in compensation. So that would be also the election
I think it's next year.
next year.
That's the way
Okay.
I would. And I
I-
think the mayor is next year, but I'll double check with Dan and clarify.
That's what I had heard initially. It was the
Who's up
next
for
year.
election next year?
Not till 20.
It'll be in
Well, it'll be 2 years.
2
right?
years. Yeah.
'Cause I have another 2 years.
Yeah. Becky, you and I came on at the same
And
time.
Mary.
And Mary.
You
Yeah.
three run on a ticket.
Okay.
And then you came out because you filled in and then you got elected. Okay.
It says in that Iowa policy book or whatever that you gave us, in 3.01, it says elected officials should not fix their wages or benefits during their immediate term of office.
That's
This
just
is
your
already-
policy.
Yeah.
So we have pay raises at different points in time. Theirs, when they get, the rest of us gotta hold on 4 years.
I'll check with Dan and get it clarified.
A good suggestion, don't spend it till you see it.
Right.
That's it.
Don't spend it till you see it.
Oh, I hear that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when you're talking Dan, who are you talking?
Talking about the city attorney.
Lawyer, Art
Being part of the
County.
Cedar Rapids group, but
And what the suggested increase was, the council members $50 per meeting, and the mayor at $3,625 a year.
this is a $15 a meeting increase. 35 to 50, right?
Yeah. Yep.
People don't realize too how much goes into doing this. We have a 4 hour.
I'll have to run till I'm 100 just to recoup this last election expense.
It's a lot more than I have. Not that I wouldn't have done
I
it.
stayed
but it's
under
a
the
lot more
$1,000
than
bucks.
At least you got signs now, Doctor.
We got signs, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you amortize that out over the 16 years that I didn't have to run, you know.
Yep.
This year we had to run.
I think maybe we should first wait to, not with the union negotiations, but we've been discussing about the police department pay raises and things.
Yeah.
Maybe we should table this discussion until we've taken care of that first before we take care of
Be wonderful.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not going to really affect us.
All right. So you're
That's a
ready
real
to
good idea.
So are you make that a motion?
to table?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
Second.
Who did that? Becky? Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed say no. All right. We will table that. All right, then item 10 is council policy procedure review.
Isn't it always you have to bring in for the agenda by Thursday?
Usually by Wednesday. It says at the bottom, I think we changed it when 4 working days prior to the meeting. 4 working days is what the agenda's always said.
Okay. I
So,
always thought it was Thursday, so it kicks in Wednesday.
so this is your policy and procedure. It's for your operation. So if you have any suggestions or changes, you're welcome to
I'm just seeing
voice
highlights.
them, and then you would need to pass it probably by a resolution at a next meeting if you're fine with it, or
Yeah.
if you want to change anything or make any
I have a
modifications.
question about this. When you, a voice roll call, you call the person that made the motion first and the person that
Yep,
seconded.
so that it does say that in there. So this was one that we had borrowed from another city.
Okay, I
Um,
was just curious because that's perfect.
so I mean, if we can change that on how we do it now, we can change that language so that you're familiar with. I don't know that I would remember it.
Well, yeah, so I don't know if have you folks had a chance to look at this? Have you read through it?
I
or
mean,
kind of?
it's nothing
No.
pressing. You can have
Yeah, I
time.
mean-
I just
I
want to
read
make
the
sure you
highlight,
have
yeah.
it.
I would take it home and look through it, and then we can put it back
Yeah.
on next month. Because I did see that roll call, and I said, "Oh, that's
And I did change
Darcy.
that
I've been
language.
doing
Yeah.
this wrong all the
You're
time."
going backwards this time.
Well,
What?
she did start it
You're
out.
doing your book in the reverse direction this time, Darcy.
That's per the mayor's direction.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Trying to keep you awake, Larry.
That's tough.
He's sick of me being first.
I guess I could do random.
No, let's not do that.
Everybody be paying attention.
So are we allowed so many absences? And I haven't been absent hardly all the time, but we have had,
It's addressed
when
in
people are
the-
Those are
absent,
questions that you need to ask yourselves to how you rule yourselves. And I think it kind of talks about that in there.
On page 4.
how many excused absences are you allowed?
Yeah, you'll have to take that home.
Right.
Maximum
Right.
2.
What?
2 council meetings per year, a council member who has a legitimate reason for being unable,
That's by telephone though.
but may
That's
participate.
telephone.
That's by
I
telephone.
mean, just
But
plain
may
gone,
participate.
gone and not able to telephone or anything.
That's only if they're
Yeah,
unexcused.
I don't know.
What's
I read it, but I
Unless
can't
they're
remember.
unexcused.
Right.
Everyone excuse us.
Well, if you have a legitimate.
If I'm at a vet meeting,
I mean, that's legitimate, but if you're just not showing up and nobody knows,
right? If I'm
then I
at a vet
think you
meeting
got
or
a
on
problem.
vacation or on call,
Right, but just
Well,
not.
you folks are responsible. Enough.
Right.
You always cover that, you know.
yeah,
so.
we can make our own decision on that,
Yeah, I don't know how many rules and regulations you want to put on yourself.
right?
Yeah, this is just kind of a guideline for all of you to be on the same page. So we've never really had a written out rules, and you probably should.
So we'll look it over.
Yeah.
We'll put it back on for next month.
I believe I will be missing it.
You'll tell us if you got something. Yeah. So we'll do that. We'll put that back on for next month, and then so then 11. Then moving on, purchasing policy review.
So you have our current policy in your agenda. The last time we updated this was 2008. And I don't know if you want to make some changes to it, what's allowed to be approved by staff, but inflation has kind of hit us since this was last updated. Right now, city purchases which exceed $500 will require prior approval by the city council. I don't know if you want to change that dollar amount or you're just fine with staying with 500. But I wanted you to take a look at this too and let me know if you want to do any changes. And then if you do, we'll need to again do a resolution at the next meeting with those changes.
It says local bids, is that like within Postville city limits?
Usually we try and
Or
keep
is that-
local within the city limits, yeah. Or the county is
Right,
another
that's what I'm
thing
looking
that we've discussed.
Well, $500. I mean, the phones are $420. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you can't get much for $500. You know, when you're talking about dealing with parts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So, I could see raising that a little bit.
What dollar amount are you thinking?
They're going through that. Holy Moses.
I don't know, 750 or what? You want to go all the way to 1,000 or?
So,
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
I
1,000.
would.
yeah, so if you're all fine with that change, that
And is that
then-
5,000 per the local and the non? It's the two
Yeah.
paragraphs.
yeah, I would say both.
1,000.
So city workers can go ahead and spend up to $1,000.
Not without
Without
my approval, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay, with your approval.
Without
This
our
is-
city council.
What level do they have to spend up to your approval level?
Well, anything that is over, that's not routine maintenance, that would be over $500 they have to go get bids and has to come to council. That's
Okay.
the way that we
That stays
understand
the
the
same now.
policy. So you're saying anything up to 1,000 would need to then come to council and we'd have to have bids.
But as long as it goes through you.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
So the resolution will be next.
Yeah, with the changes.
Well, I can see when the, something on the truck breaks. if
Right,
they have to
yeah, we
wait
do
for
routine
council
maintenance
to
stuff. And if
approve,
it's something that
yeah.
I'm not sure, usually the mayor I always get his permission or he signs off or when it's an emergency situation. Okay, so we'll make those changes. It'll be on the next meeting.
All right. Okay, then item 12 is budget review, resolution number 1419-24, a resolution setting time and place for public hearing for the purpose of soliciting written and oral comments on the city's proposed fiscal year 24-25 budget.
All right, so I got this all together for you from your budget workshop. Your tax rate will be at a 15.35128. That is down from the current year. Current budget year, we're at 15.99. So we will be decreasing our levy. And you have looked already at the proposed tax levy public hearing sheet, which shows that percent change. And then you saw your fund balance, and this is the final one after you discussed all of your boards and expenditures from our budget hearing, and it shows a balanced budget. So your next step would be to pass this resolution, which is setting your time and date for your public hearing on the proposed tax levy. Now, remember, this public hearing has to be after the auditors sends out those letters. And so the letters go out on March 20th. And so you can't have a public hearing on that levy before people were to get those letters. They normally say, give it a week or so. So I'm looking at the April regular council meeting. However, you would come in early that night at 6:00 to have your hearing for comment on your proposed tax levy. And there would be not anything else on that agenda, and you will not take any action. So you'll just be in here. You'll have the public hearing. The public's welcome to come in and make comment about your proposed tax levy. You will adjourn your meeting, and then at 7:00, you will go into your regular council meeting. So at the 7:00 meeting, then you could have on your agenda to set your public hearing for your budget. And so we're looking at a special meeting date to just come in and pass that budget. And right now we're looking at April 22nd. I believe that's the date I have.
Yes.
So
That's
That's
already
kind of
on
your
your calendar,
schedule?
isn't it, for April 8th?
for what?
It's already on the calendar.
Okay, got it.
Because I had it in mind.
So do we
That's-
set a time limit for that 6 p.m. one, so it doesn't go into the second floor?
Right. Well, remember, you don't want it to look like you're just adjourning a meeting. You want to actually end a meeting. So I was kind of nervous about starting at like a 6:30 time, because what if somebody comes in and then you didn't have adequate time that you adjourned and it's looking like you just recessed. So, I would say you're going to probably wait 15 minutes. If nobody's coming in here at all, then they're not coming. So then you could adjourn.
Is that a regular council meeting date
It is a regular council meeting
of
night.
April what?
April 8th.
April
It's the
8th,
second
okay.
Monday. Yep. And so you would have a 6:00 start time, but that's a special meeting time for you to just have your proposed levy hearing.
It's the only thing on that agenda.
It is the only thing, and you will take no action.
Just-
You're just here for the public. So tonight you would pass this resolution setting that date of for your proposed levy on April 8th at 6:00.
6 p.m.
I have a question.
Sure.
So our tax rate is gonna go down,
Yep.
but our valuations are going down.
Your valuations have gone down because of the rollbacks. Remember, there's more rollback this year with the valuation, even though valuations have gone up,
Yep.
the rollback is more. So there's
Okay.
less is being taxed on the property
Okay.
owners.
So there's
Property.
less income coming in.
Yeah.
And we're struggling with trying to with our negotiations with the city employees
Mhm.
for lack of money,
Yeah,
and some of these the groups that came in and asked for money had to be cut back.
yeah.
With those things said, if you're going to have services, why do we have our tax levy reduced
Okay, because we are already at our max levies.
at 15.99?
Yeah. We're
Is
at our
this the
max
new-
levies.
Is this the new max levy? Is 15.1?
That'll be your new levy, yeah. Now,
But is it-
remember, we
is it-
are levying less for debt service. So that makes a difference of why it's just a little bit less than the current year, but we're at max levies.
15.35
5,
is our max levy.
that'll be your max levy for this next year, yeah.
Can't be, we need money.
We
just like
can't
Bob
get
said,
any more
to
money
pay
for,
for police, to pay for, so I want to make sure that we're trying to get all the money we can
yeah,
by taxes, not to be mean to the public property owners, nothing like that.
no,
But
we're at
you
max
want
levies.
services and you want quality and you want to fund stuff and have programs, you got to have money. So we have to maximize our tax levy.
Mhm.
And everybody's paying a little to try to get, everybody has to pay a little bit through property and whatever to accomplish the service needs. I understand that. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that I heard it from you that
Yeah.
way, that it's max.
Yeah, it's at max levy.
I don't quite understand. So you had your levies, the valuations went up. Let's say you had $100,000 property and the valuation went up to 110. The rollback says now you're down to 95.
So the rollback's at what, 46% this year, where last year was at 56%. So
Wow.
56% of your property last year was being taxed. This year, or this next year,
Okay, so
46.
10%, it's
Less,
10%
yeah.
less than the previous year.
Mhm.
At some point, where does this all come to a head with this? We're not the only city involved in this.
No.
Oh, no, this is state.
The whole state.
You bet, this is state.
What's the state trying to accomplish? Do you have any insights into that, Dennis?
Lower property taxes.
Okay, so where do these other cities get their money to
All
fund
in
their
the same
police, their
boat.
fire?
It's the
They
whole
have,
newspaper article with the small
They what?
towns. This whole newspaper article, the person put in here, like
Yeah.
Paul Cater,
Mhm.
like it's the small town struggle. Exactly for the reason.
wouldn't Big Town struggle too?
Yeah, but they have more.
Oh, they've got such a
They
big
got
tax
industries
base.
and stuff like
that-
that,
Yeah.
bigger tax bases.
It's a very informative article.
Okay,
Okay.
All right, so we need a motion.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
All right. Darcy, are you ready?
Moore,
yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes.
All right. Okay, then item 13, police vehicles. Chief?
So on your packet, there's some information on some quotes on some for some vehicles. Ford's a vehicle. I was supposed to last year replace the Charger, but I held off a year. But now I'm gonna get replaced a new canine vehicle. There's quotes in there for a Durango or else a Ford Explorer. It's basically the police interceptor. One thing with the Explorer, they're a little bigger than the Durangos, and if you're making it into a canine vehicle, you're going to want all the extra space you can have for the cage and the dog and everything else. I feel the Explorer is a little bigger vehicle than the Durangos.
Did he say what the additional cost would be for the lighting and the push bar?
That's all. That's all separate. So when you fit the vehicle, so where say if you went to if you go say this Carl's for instance, they got a bid on here. They can do the whole mounting of your lights, the cage, everything you need inside the vehicle and outside at their site, but that's a separate cost. I haven't got those costs yet because I don't know what vehicle
No, you
I'm
can't.
working with.
So none of these estimates have that. extra
No,
cost.
but like for instance, the one with the Durango, the 19 Durango that we have out here, I believe the fitting of that vehicle was at that time was around 15, 20. Sound right?
Mhm.
Thousand? Yeah. So you're looking at a total fitted vehicle in the purchase of the vehicle and possibly the fitting. You're probably looking at around $65,000.
And that was the budget number.
Yeah,
I see a couple of these are one of them's in Marshalltown and
that's Carl's. It's out of Ankeny. They have the big emergency fleet, so they have different dealerships all over the state of Iowa
Okay.
where they'll get the cars, vehicles, and then they'll take them to Ankeny.
and then Story City.
Yeah. They're all part of the same.
But where do you go get the vehicle in those towns?
Yep. Their fleet. They got a whole. I think is that where the Tahoe come from?
Yeah, we've bought a
From
vehicle
Carl's
from Carl's
before.
several years ago.
So Carl's is like a main big fleet for
Big fleet.
emergency
operation.
response vehicles. For fire, not fire, but EMS, fire for just like small
Pickups.
But
pickups and
there's
stuff.
government rated,
Yeah.
government rated pricing.
But the only one that's got is the one in the Cora. Is the
Yep.
only one that's got the Ford Explorer.
Right. Well, yeah, Decora's got the Ford, and then of course Carl's out of Ankeny has the Explorer, and then they also have the Durango too, and then
So the Carl's out of which price is it the invoice price or the dealer price or what price is
I'm
the Carl's?
assuming it is.
Dealer.
The dealer price? But
Yeah.
I was guessing the invoice.
Well, I think
price.
at the very
I
bottom,
was thinking
it's
the invoice price
45,000.
myself too,
Really?
of the 46.
The very bottom though, it has
So for us, that would be kind of.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
That was the invoice price.
I was thinking the invoice price, but but they're highlighted.
but down at the bottom it's 45,007.
Yeah.
94.
So it might be the dealer price. You got two. I mean, they're highlighted two.
Also looking for an estimate for a Ford Explorer. That's why I did focus and give you one for the Dodge Durango and also Ford Explorer.
Because they
They
just
don't-
sell that.
They don't.
Yeah,
They
that's
just,
a road Ford.
they're just a Dodge dealership.
Or these 2024 vehicles, because it says on this bottom one plus 2,000 if it's 2025. Price increase.
That was for the.
Yeah, their cost.
Looks like they're all 2024 on the
Yeah,
bid sheets.
like the I don't think the 2025s are available yet.
No. Maybe they're just saying if we.
Right.
If you wait longer, it's going to cost you more.
Yeah. Normally, I think the 25s. You probably get them if you win a 25. It'd be in May or June. I think is when the 25s come out.
I like the idea that, I mean, since you say you like the roomier one, which is the Explorer, we're kind of keeping it closer to local.
And like I said, yeah, the Explorers are a little bigger, so it's going to be more room.
I'd hate for you to get the other one all outfitted and have it too small.
Because like the Durango we have, it's in the back seat portion. To me, it seems too small for a K9 unit cage and stuff.
No, was using that one, right?
Xena, they were using a Charger,
Oh,
and that cage in the Charger was a full cage. This would be a half a cage.
Matt, do you know what the biggest difference in the two Explorers anyway? That Decora's MSRP was 52.5 and Carl's was 47,340. I mean,
Yeah,
that would be the high end, but
right
that's
there.
pretty substantial for.
I was looking at that.
Let's see
Let
the
me
Ford.
find the quarter one here.
That's a Durango.
No, the Carl's is a
Where is,
Oh,
which
okay.
page is that on?
it's on the.
I was
last
I was doing the comparison and with Carl's and the Cora one, and everything is pretty similar.
Well, on the top, Lori, it says of the Ford one, it says 47,165, like just for the base. That's the MSRP, which is more close to the 47,340 that the Pearl guide or whatever writes. I think it's just what they're adding on, that they're doing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It says 47,340 or 47,165. That's about.
Oh,
And I do see like the engine is different from the Cora than the Carl one.
Laura one is not the police interceptor.
It is. They both are. They're both the K8A, is what they're calling it. They're both interceptor utility all-wheel drive.
so the first page is a Ford Explorer. Second page is a Durango. Third page is a Durango, and the last two pages are Ford Explorers.
What do I see? I can't see that. I'm blind. Show me.
Right here. Carl's Ford.
It says Carl's Ford, but it doesn't say that's a Ford car.
Don't sell dogs. It's a Ford.
What's the bottom line price from Decora? 49?
49,168. Yeah, 49,168.
What's the bottom line price from Carl Ford?
46.
08?
Yeah.
You got a recommendation?
I mean, like if you go through Decora, then you have to get the vehicle fitted, and normally we would do our fitting, have Graybell and Marion or Hiawatha, so the vehicle would have to go there. If you went with Carl's, the vehicle would stay there, and you do the fitting right there on site. They do the vehicle fitting outfit. So I've
So you
never
got gas, because we ran back and forth to Graybill, back and forth, back and
for
forth. You know, you're driving all the way to Cedar Rapids, basically.
Sure, yeah.
yeah. So I've never dealt with Carl's before. This would be, I don't know, when they bought
We
the
didn't have any issues with
didn't have any
Carl, no.
issues. So I've never dealt with them, but I do know they do the fitting of the vehicles on site.
Some savings there.
I think it'd be interesting to
The
know
fitting
what they
price?
charge for fitting.
That's just it. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know what the fitting price would be because I don't know what vehicle I'm working with to get fitted.
Ford Explorer here.
They're both Ford Explorers.
The last page.
So
the back
okay,
page,
what?
where does it say that that's an Explorer?
Okay,
Where does it say that?
the last
The
page.
very
Look
last
the page
page.
ahead of that.
Huh?
Look the page ahead of that. It's all part of that.
Yeah,
It's all part of that
Those-
bid,
those
Becky.
last three pages are all.
Yeah.
one.
Are all,
Carl's.
are all
Yeah.
Explorers.
Yes.
No, they're the same vehicle.
It's the same vehicle. They're just getting to the bottom number.
Yeah,
Because it says police interceptor utility.
That-
but it doesn't say-
that's Explorer.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
There's a heck of a difference in engines.
Yeah. I was
Yeah, 'cause-
thinking-
Wow, you got one running at 2,600 and the other one's at 9. The EcoBoost is 950.
yeah.
But that baby, you can top out at 136 miles an hour.
I tried to get one for my county job.
Yeah. You get
What one is that, Carl's?
That's Carl's.
Carl.
Need to go
That's a 100 motor?
So if they do that conversion, you should do it all in one place, right? Makes sense to you.
I mean, make it easier.
Well,
GPC, is that the conversion package?
Less money too.
Government, I'm assuming. Government, yeah, it's government discount. Is right there.
Ford doesn't say much about its engine, really, doesn't it?
It's an eco boost.
It's a 3.0 EcoBoost, and the other one is a 3.3 liter V6.
Oh, I see. 3.1 EcoBoost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, money in the budget for this, or are you going to?
This is the new budget year. It's gonna take what, a year?
Probably
Oh.
anywhere 6 to 8 months to even get the vehicle completed.
Or were we thinking of using some of
You're
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
For the police department.
Yeah.
Exactly.
to want to say anything about that USDA thing too?
Oh, yeah, you can, it's your
I
department.
don't know much about it. Other than there is a USDA grant that's available, which 2 years ago or 2 years, whatever, we tried apply for that grant and Postville didn't qualify at the time, but now we do, and it's 55% use we can get out of it
It's 55%.
of that grant will cost
They would
towards
pay.
yeah.
That'd be nice.
Why?
It's for low income communities.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
55% of what?
Of the
The
vehicle
vehicle
purchase.
purchase, so that's a grant. It's through the USDA. It's a grant
55% be paid for that?
If we get it.
if we get it.
We're just starting to fill out the paperwork.
Monona, they just got approved. They got approved. They're going through that program. I tried to go through the program. I don't know, must have been one
When we try to get the truck.
truck, yeah. And at that time, we were too big, wasn't it?
No, we didn't. We weren't considered low income.
Yeah, we were considered low income at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. They go off the census, and so they went off the 2013 census, and now they're going
Oh,
off the
sure.
2020.
That would make it quite a difference.
Yeah.
Do you still have the, I believe, $1,000 from the Department of Justice?
The what?
$30,000 from the Department of Justice
$30,000.
for hiring a new officer.
Now that's
Gone?
no, it's still good. It's there, but it's not 30,000. It's more than 30,000, but that can't go towards a vehicle.
Once we get the pricing on the conversion things, would we have to keep it at the place where we bought it? Like if Decorah comes out cheaper for the conversion, if we bring the car from Carl to
What
Decorah.
if you just say you want to buy an Explorer and have him go get the pricing and then bring it back to you to know which one to pick? Because you'd want to know how much the equipment's going to cost.
Mhm.
That's going to make a difference.
Right.
So I think you need to
And
go.
time frame.
Yeah,
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, is that gonna be sitting out for 2 years or a year?
right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I need to know what.
So if you're okay with an Explorer, he needs that direction so then he can go get the pricing
Get
for
the
the equipment
quotes.
and the lead time to get it.
Well, if you need the bigger vehicle in order to get the dog's
Makes
equipment and the dog cared for the best and the handler, it's kind of a moot point in my book to chintz on it.
I move that we look into purchasing a Ford Explorer instead of a Durango.
Okay.
Matt, if we say it's a canine vehicle, do you think that will help with the grant?
Yeah, I will to be.
Yeah, they'll be all.
I mean, I'm just saying, is
Yeah.
that gonna give us some points, you know, and grant people to,
Should. I mean, I'm sure it'll help.
And Matt, does that, being that it is a canine vehicle, does that have like the option on, you know, the officer has the button on that opens the door for the animal to get
That's
out?
all part of the
That's
fitting
part
of
of
the
the fitting.
vehicle.
Okay.
Where you have the pop doors
Yep.
and everything and the
And the constant air conditioning.
yeah, everything. So that's part of the fitting. So that's why you need to know what vehicle, order
Right.
to get the pricing of the fitting
Right.
quote. Yep.
And does that fitting include what the officer has to wear then? That button, that emergency button,
That'd be a part of the
that's part of the fitting package?
yeah. It'll come with that pop. It's like a remote.
Mhm.
It'll come with that package
Yep.
equipment. And,
Okay, but that's part of that fitting package?
right.
Okay.
And like the cage, I said, would be a half a cage. Charger had a full cage. So this would be a half a cage. And so they would need to know what type of vehicle the cage is going to be able to fit into, so.
And then obviously that's non-transport vehicle. That's
No,
our
it will
point.
be a transport.
It will have room for a transport?
Yep.
Okay.
Besides the dog?
Mm-hmm.
You get to,
Yeah, it might be.
Use
It
the
might
same cell.
Yeah.
It'll be like Ross.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but like previously she could.
She couldn't
right.
because it was a full cage, but now they get to ride with the dog going too.
There's a space between the person and the dog. or something.
Yeah, there's a panel.
Oh,
in
yeah.
between
too
there.
bad.
Looking at him.
We were at a canine golf tournament in La Crosse and they were showing with their dogs and one of their dogs was so big they could not possibly fit another human in the back seat with him without him eating their face. So that's why I'm asking if
Yeah.
it's a transport or not.
Wow.
So we got a motion. How does that motion read?
Look into proceed with the Ford Explorer and look into equipment,
Fitting
Fitting
costs
costs.
fitting costs.
at each dealership or with respective dealerships.
And time.
Time frame.
Okay, second.
I,
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
that would save a lot of money, that 55% grant.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
I
going
haven't
to
done
like
it
it.
I was looking at her.
Darcy does a lot of thing.
The clerk and the mayor with their pockets turned inside out so that they're empty, Where's the bill of
There's no acting there.
What?
There's no acting there.
Well, yeah, but the visual effect,
Yeah, yeah.
You need
Sure.
a picture. A picture's worth
Yeah.
1,000
Right.
words.
selling it.
All right, so you understand the motion?
There's a question.
Where?
You wanna go fast.
Do you need letters of support for that grant?
No, I don't think so.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, say no. All right, that's scary. Let's go on to item 14, and that's about the website, Darcy.
All right, so I had looked a year ago into redoing our website, and at that time, I went to our web designer, which is Corey with iRock Webs, and he gave me a price of $5,000. Well, I couldn't afford it, so we were working on our budget this year. We reached out to him again and to get pricing, and he came back that he can revamp our current website for $3,375. So that's way cheaper than I had anticipated for the new budget. So I actually would like to maybe get permission just to move forward with it in the current budget year because I have some money in my budget.
Definitely.
We are, as you know, working on our codification and we're 2 years into it now. I don't know when it's ever going to be done. But part of that is our codes will be now by a link on our website. So you can click on them and bring up all of our codes and they're always up to date with Iowa law. So once that's all done, you'll be, adopting your new code book by the new way that we're going to be doing it. But it'll be helpful with, revamping this website to have that option put in there. So it's when it's available, it can be easily set up.
Is he the one who set up the website as it is?
Yes, he's who we pay our domain to. And yeah, he's the one we call when we have problems and he's real good about it.
Oh, do you?
All right, so I guess we need a motion then for Ira.
I move that we move on the iRock web
All right. Second,
I'll second
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Say no. Item 15, Cheryl Street. And one way, or we've got, if you don't all know where Cheryl Street is, am I the only one who got this?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
it.
pass it
know
around.
what it is.
Here's the map.
It's right at the same place where the new four-way, the two extra stop signs are.
That's, yes,
and
yes, that goes.
Oak Street and then Hill and then Cheryl, right by the park.
They asked for the one way
That's what I was
on
just
that street.
Well, okay, so part of the discussion about this is Cheryl Street, and then on the north side of Cheryl Street, you know, where it comes to the stop sign and
On
runs
Librand.
on Librand.
Mm-hmm.
So this gentleman that, or the folks that live there on the corner of Cheryl and Librand to the right side, you know, they went ahead and they poured a lot of concrete, you know, and he just does not have, even though the concrete's there, he doesn't have room to park a vehicle because, you know, you got your right of way in there, you got the sidewalk in there, and there was complaints about when the folks come to the stop sign to Librand, now you can't see, you know, if there's anything coming. So this is discussion. How do you fix that problem?
You would go the one way, we go from Librand to
Oak.
Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went on there today just to see, and it doesn't seem like it's that wide of a street. And if anybody has company and they have to park outside, it's not really it would not be very convenient to drive down the street if people are parked on it, you know. I think it'd probably be a good idea to make it a one way, personally. What does the police department think about it? Do you care one way or the other?
I personally never had an issue going out of it. It's one side parking
Oh, yeah.
anyway. You may have to wait. On the street.
JT, you mind coming up to the microphone, please?
Yeah, here you go.
Come on.
I've personally never had a problem going in and out of there. I understand the person's argument. Well, just ease your way out into the street. That's just my opinion. That's what we all do. But you know, I've talked to the other officers and they haven't had problems going through there. It's one side parking anyway.
What is it?
Yeah, so like if you come off of Librand, you can park on the side on your right hand side, not on the other
Yeah.
side. So wait for a vehicle that's coming by, well, wait the 10 seconds and keep driving. I think you might have more of a hassle if you make it in one way. You're gonna make people think, well, I can park on. I live on this side of the street. I'm gonna park over here. That's just my opinion. And then now you have a single lane.
One place, yeah.
And you also have to think of it too from fire department and EMS perspective, where if you do change it into a one way, and if you do allow parking on both sides, you know, now we definitely can't fit fire trucks down there. So that's just
Safety.
that's just my 2 cents, just from cruising around.
I'll see.
So you haven't had an issue pulling out at the stop sign of Librand and Cheryl for that residents parking on the right hand side?
No, I've
You've not been able to not see traffic because those are the complaints we consistently are getting.
It'd be no different than coming off the streets on
Of the
off
angled
here,
parking.
the angle
I mean,
parking.
ease in or make a right hand turn.
Yeah,
but
just
that's
have to-
just
if
my-
somebody's
Yeah,
parked
well,
there, it's
that's
not
good.
gonna be an issue, but when he's parked there, it's probably in the evenings and it's even worse at night. I would think so. I think it's a good idea. I thought would be a good idea when I saw it today.
It's a dumb idea. Dumb idea.
Why?
If you want to talk about.
Do you want to come up here and talk?
Okay. Yeah, there are other things in this town, as far as one-way streets, that I can see, that we're going to have a problem. The problem is, if you really want to do something one way, look at Quick Start. That having that, either way people can drive out of there, make that a one-way so they have to go into the alley and use that. You're gonna have an accident down there, I promise you. Just wait and see.
What should be one way? The entrance and exit for Quick Start?
Yeah.
Well, that's their deal, not ours, right?
You could do too.
This
I
DOT
don't
would
think that's a
probably have an
personal-
issue with that.
That's not our issue, that's theirs.
They have wide accesses there.
Well,
But-
I'm just telling you, the people back on Cheryl, I don't think they're gonna be happy.
Right?
Well, we're responding to a complaint
Right.
from people on Cheryl.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Is it more than one person? That's fine.
She gets a lot of calls.
It's one person.
Oh, one person.
That's all I have to say,
Okay.
but I think you're wasting your time.
I think do we have any other one-way streets in this town?
No,
No.
there's no other one-way
I
streets.
think it just starts creating confusion.
And was the
You have some
request,
streets that are one-way, some states that aren't. People don't look at the signs that close.
was the request to go like southbound one way or northbound one way? It doesn't really run true straight north.
Toward, from Librand toward
To
Oh.
yeah, that would be the one-way.
to the four-way.
You
bus.
so you'd be going from north to south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there like 7 or 8 houses on that street?
No, there's more than that.
Dozen, 15.
Maybe 15.
4,
Making
5,
people
6,
into
7,
one-way
8,
would
9,
help.
10,
So they can
11,
just-
12.
Yeah,
I
because
forgot
that's a
about
truck
those
route.
ones.
It's a truck route.
But that wouldn't help
Yeah.
another issue.
No, 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 it wouldn't.
Because they have to make this just a one-way bus.
And JC did have a good point though. If you did make it that one way, then people would be parking on both sides and
Yeah, that would.
At least
yeah,
12
yeah,
both
that
would
would
be able to get
Not
vehicles through there. It's bad enough
This one is
when you're waiting, but if you have vehicles side by side, parked on both sides, you're not gonna be able to get
Right
No.
now it's one that's just only
Yeah.
parking on one
west side parking.
Okay. I
east
didn't
side,
realize- I
no
didn't even
parking.
notice any signs. I was trying to see that.
And they're on the east side with the no parking.
I'm just doing a rough count. There'd be 12 entrances, private entrances involved.
Those people see what they would think.
Confusing.
That's probably why there's a lot
For
of traffic.
people
though, too.
until they get used to it. Just like the four-way stop I see.
People still put their
At
trash
night
cans out
sometimes
the
we'll
wrong way.
pull up by the park.
I mean, we was
It was
just a discussion, you know, I mean, if you want it back on the agenda for next time, we'll put it back on or,
Or if you want us to reach out to the homeowners and see what they think.
Yep.
Or you just want to forget it. I'm fine with that too.
So did that guy get a permit to put a?
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys gave it to him.
yeah, he did,
That's
he
why
did
we're in
everything
this
right.
situation.
And I figured he did have a permit.
Yeah, and I've talked to him several times, and he doesn't want any issues with anybody. But he's like, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to park.
The only other option is if you guys allow him to do another curb cut on the side of his house,
On the side street of his house.
on the side of his house and put a concrete.
On the Cheryl
Yeah.
Street,
But you still probably have that stop sign there.
Yeah, if you come back,
the Cheryl Street side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because his
Yeah.
backyard is
Yeah, he's got a big backyard.
down.
but the backyard you can't utilize.
There's
'Cause
no
it's too
utilizing
low.
that.
But
The
on that
sides.
side, right beside his house, there's a pretty good area that you can do a curb cut and put concrete there to park right along the side of there and still be enough away from the stop sign.
What is the physical distance you have to have from a stop sign to
Right.
that entry?
What is it, 15, 10?
10 feet?
Does he have that?
I think he will have that, yeah. But I noticed he planted new trees or two right along so
Trees can be cut.
yeah.
Yeah, they can be.
Mm.
They
No,
can
I'm
be.
just saying, if
Yeah.
it's an issue, it's his issue. He
Right,
created the
yeah.
issue.
Well, we'll do a little investigating this. Yeah, we'll. Okay. All right, that's what we'll do. Okay, item 16 then is a consent agenda.
Street closure, that's gonna be March 4th at 5 o'clock, not March 6th.
Okay.
March 4th.
Set at 5?
Yes,
Okay.
What are you talking about?
F.
the street closure.
Trade.
See it, Becky?
What are you talking? I didn't hear what you said.
It's on number 16 agenda item.
Oh, the
Letter F.
street closure.
Yeah.
That's going up
You said you're
March
not
4th at what time?
west military rate.
Yeah.
And then down.
To the synagogue. Yeah.
Is that at the synagogue?
West
It's going
Military
to the
to
synagogue
Aspen.
from a private house to the synagogue.
So is it a parade?
It's like yeah, it's
Celebration.
a walking parade, I guess, with music and dancing. Just
Okay.
No clothes?
people.
Okay. Okay, so that's figured out. Anything else in that
I
consent
have a
agenda?
question about the meeting from the park, school and recreation.
Okay, I'll try and answer.
Hmm?
I'll try and answer.
Pardon? I thought you said trying to. Okay. I was looking at all the things that they did at their meeting, and I see they're gonna put a pickleball court somewhere. They want to do that.
Okay, so the pickleball court, just to clarify it, from what I understand, there is a concrete pad up by the water tower that kids play basketball on. An individual is donating a retractable net, and that is where they're going to put
That's
it.
up by the water tower. Where
Pickleball
Backside of
court.
softball diamond.
Co-op drive.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Yeah.
okay, that's good. That's all well and good. I was just kind of curious about that. But anyway, discuss Lowe's Park nature area, including making it easier to mow and adding playground equipment.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
agree that
they
adding
are
playground
looking at
equipment-
getting rid of the volleyball court
Yeah, I
there.
knew that. Yeah.
And they want to work out a plan to get the nature trail more maintainable. So like,
Yeah, I
being able to
understand
mow.
that.
And then they want to start replacing playground equipment by that trail, like that swing there. And then they want to start phasing in smaller pieces, replacing old with, they think that's more doable than trying to do a large structure somewhere. That is the way they explained it to me.
A large structure would be what, shelter or?
A large play structure.
Kind of like at
Larger
school.
play
And,
structure,
and,
okay.
and you're talking about putting that where the volleyball thing is?
No,
Or-
nothing at the volleyball. That'll be
Okay.
mowed.
That'll be grass. Okay.
So where those swings are up there by that nature trail, those swings, they're in bad shape. So they would start with those.
Just south of me, Becky.
I know. That's where I walk all the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
where there's
Well,
playground
swings-
equipment
that's where the
now,
swings are.
I don't see any swings there, do I?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know where you're at
Yeah.
now. Okay.
so
I thought you
there.
meant closer to where the nature
No, no,
because I know that nature trail is a mess and a lot of
yes,
trash and
Oh,
I
yeah.
would agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the deal that there needs to be some landscaping done there, you know,
Maybe
and
some
and-
riprap.
yeah, and get it to where you can actually mow
maintain it.
or something,
Yeah.
because it's the biggest weed patch I've ever seen.
Oh, it's
We'll
terrible.
tear the weed commissioner over there, and
There I am.
what are you gonna do about
I'm
it?
not.
I am.
That's
I'm
city.
with you.
Oh, but she's with the
bringing that
county.
up.
She's with the county.
I'm bringing it up.
Gotcha. But anyway,
And another thing I have to tell you, my husband was walking the dog, and this was before the winter started, and he saw some people, what do you call it? Doing the wild thing, I guess you could say. No, they were
in the weed patch,
relations. Yeah.
Making more citizens?
Making more citizens or kind of something. Anyway, I just had to let you know and be on the lookout.
Well, the ragweed in there is like 10
Oh,
feet tall.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
summer. I mean, if they're doing that, wow, they got some
Well,
stuff.
they were in the area that you could flat, kind of. push
Well,
it down.
whatever.
I got the grass.
Okay,
part.
let's go.
Too much information.
Yeah.
Too much
So maybe we need to
I
plant
don't, I
some
would have
poison
said
ivy there
something. He said
instead.
he just let him go. I would have said something. I didn't. It's against
Does
the law.
anyone talk to RC&D about maybe some grants? or
Yeah,
something like that?
we'll work on that.
But that is a natural. Always the intent of
Yeah, it was a reap.
at that time, because I was the REIT person at that time. Alzina was still alive, and Barry Wilson, the director of the DNR, went to Lyle's house and presented him with a check to make that $10,000 of flowers and that. Well-meaning ladies in the town went down there, thought they were weeds.
There goes that money down the hole.
Well, there
But
weren't
you know,
that
there's-
many gardens.
There's
there.
still some nice little areas that have benches with people's names and memory of. There's still a few of those there, but just that whole area that's.
Yeah, it's bad.
it's- Did we agree that the Club of the Hour can have Turner Hall without a fee? It's for an Easter egg hunt for the kids in the community.
That's up to you
That's
guys.
what
You're
I'm
on the consent agenda.
Can we do that? I mean, I think that we should do it because it is for the, instead of having it at Walls Park because Easter is so early. They're worried that it's going to be not a nice day, the 31st of March or the 30th of March. So does anybody have anything to say about that?
You're good to go.
Do you think it's a good, I think it's a good idea to let them have it free.
I'm on the committee, so I shouldn't talk.
So I'm not, oh, that's right, you're on the committee.
I think everybody thinks it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea to do that. So I say we should do that.
How about approving all of it then?
Yeah.
I move that we approve the consent.
Then,
agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. That's carried. Okay. Item 17, then resolution for money to pay the bills. Second.
Got some swimming pool. This is going back. That's swimming pool managers.
We only have 3 applications for the pool.
For the manager position.
Only 1 application for that. 2 lifeguards, that's it.
Do that-
3 lifeguards, 3 lifeguards.
That's kind of early yet.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We're gonna probably have to go beg like we do every year.
Can we ask who the manager application is?
Probably not yet, no.
Okay. All right. Somebody wanted to do it. I can't remember who it was. My wife left the number.
You got time to put her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got time.
Not her. It's somebody else.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
whoever it is.
Okay.
So there's a second to the motion.
I'll second it.
All right.
he made the motion. Ingstrom made the motion to approve.
No, I thought-
I
I
Pay the
didn't,
bills.
I didn't,
To-
yeah,
Pay the
was there a
bills.
second?
Oh,
We're on the bills now. I
Oh,
didn't slip
okay.
back. I read.
No, I know. We had a motion, so I was asking for a second
Yeah,
on the
thank
motion.
you. And
Yeah.
she made the motion,
Yeah.
so she can't second.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Somebody
what I
can't
was
pay the
asking for.
clients,
Yeah.
I guess.
Ping pong ball.
Who's seconding that?
Claims.
Oh, Delora, you did. Did you?
No,
No, that was on something else. Okay.
I'll
What did you
second
do?
those. I'll
Thank
second
All right,
those to
yeah.
pay the claims.
Okay. Go ahead, Darcy, whenever you're ready.
I can't read.
Moore?
Yes.
Mar,
Yes.
Moody,
Yeah.
Ingstrom,
Yes.
Engelhardt.
Yes,
Okay. Brings us to item 18, closed session for Iowa Code Chapter 21.51-J to discuss particular real estate. So we're gonna go into closed session.
Before you do that, can I ask a question? This, up by the funeral home, old meeting house.
Blue house. The blue house.
yeah. I see there are people picking stuff out of there.
I think it's the property owner.
Property owner. So do we have to move to go into closed session?
Oh,
What?
yes.
We just go into closed, we don't have to move.
Yeah, we'll have to move to go into closed session.
Yeah,
At that property?
yeah. Who was just saying that people are taking things out of it? Who just said that?
They're throwing junk out of there.
Sit on the curb.
Yeah, who was that?
The attorney's the one that told me they got a dumpster and that they're cleaning out the house because the tenant was a hoarder.
Yeah, we don't know who's in
Because
there
we are
cleaning
going,
it.
we're finding them. We were scheduled to go to court. And got,
So these people they who were supposed to be
Mhm,
emptying
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Whoever they hired.
They're trying to make it better.
You're talking about the blue house again.
Yeah.
I just want to hear how you're going into executive session because this is what I went to school with the insurance to make sure that you never made any more mistakes and you never got sued.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could go through that.
Sure. You want to make a motion, anyone, to go into a closed session here?
Make a motion according to.
Iowa Code.
Iowa Code,
Yeah.
Chapter 21.51J, to discuss real estate.
So I would move that we move into closed session. Is that appropriate?
Yep.
Is that city property or?
It is city property.
Ooh, you gotta be really careful.
I'll second it.
To do a roll call vote. Moore?
Yes.
Mar?
Yes.
Moody?
Yes.
Ingstrom?
Yes.
Engelhardt?
Yes.
Are you discussing sale of the property?
Okay, we're in closed session now.
You didn't do it right. You could be sued for over 81 violations. Take care, guys. I'm just telling you.
Ask to leave.
And you can ask your attorney, but he will lie to you because these attorneys like to get you in trouble for so they can charge you hell. That's from past experience. Take care, guys.
We asked him to leave. He didn't leave.
Yeah.
Good night.
You have to turn off the YouTube also.
It has to be recorded though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
give me a second here. I need to shut this off.